Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new Cimarron sitting behind me here. This is a 2025 Cimarron Norstar Warmblood 2-horse bumper pull. This trailer has really become extremely popular, and as we walk through, you'll probably understand why when I start showing you all the cool features and benefits on this actual trailer that we're looking at. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some specs. This trailer is 18.3 on the floor. It is standard width, 6'10 wide. It's extra tall, 7'7 tall. So for our bigger Warmblood trailer, bigger Warmblood horses, this is a great trailer for it. It accommodates them. Empty weight on the trailer as it sits is 4250. So, can be towed with about any, half-ton pickup, even smaller SUVs. We'll talk about brakes here in a minute. But let's take a look at this trailer. I'll show you some cool features on this guy. First and foremost, up at the neck, or excuse me, the tongue here, we have a 2 5/16 ball on this guy. So you'll need a 2 5/16 ball. Now, depending on your tow vehicle, we might have to look at your different drop, height. So we've got some options here if you wanted to just wait and come to the store, and we'll take a look at it and we'll get you set up. There's some adjustable. We can figure out the correct drop we need to, but we've got some options there. Manual hand crank, bumper pull jack there by Bulldog. On the lower part of this, you're gonna have that diamond plate, that tread right there that's gonna protect from rocks, other debris getting thrown up from the actual tow vehicle. And then their tongue's a little bit longer. It's a 3-foot tongue, which I like that from the standpoint of, if it's a shorter tongue, it gets more compact. You have to really watch when you really crank these guys, almost at like a 90-degree angle. You can really have the potential of getting into these trailers. I mean, obviously you need to pay attention anytime you're towing a trailer, but that tongue allows that trailer to set back away from the tow vehicle a little bit more in those type of scenarios. Now, front tack room on this guy. With it, you're gonna have the door on the nose here. You're gonna have a window in the nose on the actual door, and then another one on the other side of the nose there. But you're gonna have a brush tray on the door, so smaller miscellaneous items, good catch-all there. Brushes, fly sprays, anything like that, hoof picks. If you wanted to add another one, that could be done. I know sometimes some customers like the door organizer that can be attached to the door itself. That's an option there. And then you have your fold-up step going into the tack room. It's just on a gas shock, really easy to operate. But if you're carrying items, you're carrying your saddles, you're carrying maybe some totes, anything else, it makes this step so much easier, this transition getting into the tack room so much easier from ground level by having that fold-up step that kind of breaks it in half there. And then as we come in, we've got rubber on the floor. You're gonna notice that the partition wall is almost fully carpeted. I mean, you're gonna have some carpet behind your bridle hooks. We're gonna have some aluminum powder coated hooks up high, some down low. Even on this kind of shorter wall in this tack room, we went ahead and put some so they're really easy accessible from right outside. And then your light switches are right there as well. So you're gonna have an OptiBrite light, a big LED light right above the door here as you come in. It's not a massive tack room by any means, so this one light will easily, get plenty of coverage in this front tack room here. Up on the ceiling, you're gonna have a clothes rod up there so you can hang some clothes. So if you're, competing off the trailer or just traveling, you don't wanna take up space, you can actually, hang those directly from the ceiling itself. It's up out of the way, it really doesn't interfere with anything. On the driver's side wall, the back side of that tack wall, you're gonna have a recessed post. So you're gonna have 2 saddle racks on this one with 2 blanket poles. The one cool thing is these are adjustable, so we can move them up and down, change the sequencing. If you wanna completely remove them, you can, or if you wanna add to it, you can. With that recessed post in there, basically all we have to do is just loosen up the nuts on the bottom side and top side of like the saddle rack, the blanket poles, slide them where we want, slide them out of the way, get them to where we want and tighten them up. That's simple. But you've got 2 and 2 because it's a 2-horse. We just set it up that way. And then there's also a window. So when you're traveling, you can actually just kind of pop right in here if you want and take a peek at the horses. So you got a great view of the stall area from right here. in this actual front tack room. Now this is a 1 foot offset, so it's a unique offset, but you'll understand why as we start walking through the trailer a little bit more. Now you're gonna have a 16-inch awning light directly above this front tack room door here. That way you have some exterior light coverage as you're going in and out. That's something that we've recently added to these. We used to have them on the side, but as you can see, with the tack door being on the angle and on the nose, you know, that light over there really doesn't help us a whole lot. So we felt like we wanted to add that. This is silver metallic sheeting. So white is standard. Silver is a very popular option. Charcoal metallic's probably the other one. Those would probably be the two favorites that we see from customers as far as an upgraded color. You know, the sheet goes itself. It's really cool when you get it in direct sunlight and you get at the right angle, you'll see those metallic flakes in it. So there is an upcharge to go to silver and that charcoal and other colors from white, but again, white's standard, but you can go with a different color if you'd like. Now, this is where it's really starting to get cool and unique on this trailer. It's a side ramp. So this is a walk-on, walk-off trailer in a 2-horse bumper pull. So we can walk them on into the straight load and then we can walk them right off this side ramp. So we'll show you when we get to the inside how that works. But you got your ramp here on the side of the trailer. As you can see, I let it go. It's with these springs, they actually want to suck it into the side of the trailer and get into the lock position. All of these tack door, ramps, windows, everything's gonna have the exact same key too. So you don't have to fumble through 8 different keys on this trailer. One key does it all. But then you have that access into that stall area from here on this side ramp. Now I'll show you when we get to the inside, you know, the other door that we have and when we get to the driver's side of the door, but you're gonna have this ramp, again with the Dutch door up above. It's got a bus window in it. So one thing you'll notice, and it's kind of hard to see it right now because we have both these Dutch doors open, but there's a window here, there's a window in this back Dutch door, and then there's a big bus window over the hip of the horse. So we can create a lot of airflow throughout this trailer by having all these. Now on this trailer here, so we have Dexter rubber torsion axles, we have Goodyear tires. These are 10 plies with electric brakes. The black aluminum with the silver accent that goes with it, I think it really ties in well with the extrusion. You know, the framework of the windows, the hardware that you see, that black really ties in there. The electric brake part of it comes into play with a standpoint of, you know, our tow vehicle either has to have an integrated brake controller or we have to do an aftermarket. So I know on most of the pickups today, they're gonna have that integrated brake controller. Maybe you have to add an aftermarket, but I know on some of the SUVs, maybe they're not quite set up. They might have the tow package, but they actually don't have the actual brake controller in the vehicle. So you might have to look at adding that. But our parts and service department can help you with that process if need be. You're also gonna have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires. If you catch road debris, have a blowout, you know, just catch a nail that punctures the sidewall of the tire that can't be patched, they will replace your tire, no questions asked, within the first years from the date you purchase it. Don't just discard the tire itself. You know, we're gonna need some information, we're gonna need some pictures, some of the codes off of it, those type of items, but we can help you out with that process. Okay, so we have a rear ramp with Dutch doors up above. So we have, again, that walk on, walk off with this straight load here. But this is where this trailer really, I'll show you here in a minute how this trailer becomes really versatile. You know, maybe your horse prefers that rear ramp load. Maybe you're hauling a mare and a foal. Maybe you have toys that you want to put on this. You have that ramp that you can actually utilize there. Now the Dutch doors, they can actually swing and lock into the side of the trailer. So you can actually drive going down the road with the Dutch doors open like they are. And you can, you know, for safety purposes, you can go ahead and lock them open. But they do have windows in the back too, bus windows. So again, creating that airflow. Maybe you want a lot of airflow, open up the Dutch doors. Maybe you want to kind of restrict it, you know, shut it, but still have that airflow. You can open up those bus windows. So you have that flexibility there. They are that wraparound style, so they get to the side of the trailer. Before we go in, a couple things on the top rail. You're gonna have an 8-inch awning light up there. So you have a light shooting down and out, just like we have them on the sides. And then on your tail lights, you're gonna notice that there's a white X in the middle of those. I got it lit up for you so you can see. That is a backup light. So they're a built-in backup light within those tail lights. That was something we were continuously doing to our inventory, was adding backup lights. And then Cimarron went ahead and made it standard when they found these guys here for us. So it's really nice because our tow vehicle is, you know, a fair distance away. So really those backup lights don't do us a ton of good for the most part. You know, behind the trailer, you're gonna get into places unfamiliar late at night. It's nice to have that. Again, you're not gonna regret having all these load lights, these backup lights, interior lights on this trailer. Now, in the stall area, you're gonna notice, okay, straight load. So we have this big divider. It's a stud divider. It goes clear to the floor. Pads on it as well. And then we've got the jail bars up above. And it's even got it on the head grill. But again, airflow is the big thing. It's actually easier if you have some horses that maybe need a little extra separation, where you'd prefer maybe a solid divider. You know, this is easier to go in and get a panel and actually go ahead and add it to the head grill and maybe even over the shoulder a little bit if need be, then going the other way from a solid divider to then trying to go airflow. We basically have to build a whole new divider and there's added costs. So it's a little simpler going the other way. But again, from an airflow standpoint and just keeping the horses nice and cool and comfortable, this is about the only way to go. But that stud divider really helps too, protecting everybody. You're gonna have your butt bars, chest bars as well on each side. But what's really unique about this is, you know, normally we make these dividers on these type of trailers, our 2+1s or head-to-heads, these straight loads, to where you can easily remove this divider. It's a two-person job just because of the awkwardness and length of it. They're not that heavy, but it can move out. Now, we took this concept from our show cattle trailers, where we have a traveling gate that runs across the trailer, and we can slide it forward and backwards and lock it into place where we want. So in this instance here, instead of me having to unpin this, find somebody to help me, take it out, store it, and then pull it back in the trailer to store, or put it back in place, all I have to do is unpin it from the floor and the ceiling, get in the middle of it, and I can slide it across over here to driver's side, get it locked into my pins, into the hardware we have in the floor and ceiling. And just like that, we have a nice big box stall. So what did that take me? A few seconds to do that. It's so nice to be able to convert this from that 2-horse straight load to an open box stall. So again, maybe it's some toys you want to put in here occasionally. Maybe you just want to give somebody a box stall. Maybe you have mare and foal, give them that room. You know, these guys here can unpin as well. The other two on the other side actually store behind it, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can remove these guys right here and get them out of the way. But how cool is that, that you can take that and slide it out of the way, and again, have a lot of versatility to the trailer. So now back into the stall area, you got kick mats all the way around, nice and tall. LED lights, you got LED lights above each horse, kind of right about that point of the shoulder is where it's gonna be. But again, ton of light coverage in here. Over on the side ramp, you've got a bar that goes across, but what's really cool about this guy is I can unpin it, and a lot of times it's like, okay, well, now where do I put this long bar and set it out of the way so nobody bumps it and we have a wreck. Cimarron designed this bar that actually has a slider built in ahead of the ramp there that, see, I can push it up, put it against the wall, get it in that corner, so that's one less thing we have to worry about, is a horse hitting that and then causing problems. So simple to use, really easy operation. Lock it back into place, and again, walk horses on and off. This head grill here, it does pivot, so when you're unloading horses, typically your passenger side horse is usually the first one off, and then you can break that head grill over and then walk the horse on driver's side off the trailer as well. There's a good look at that window that we saw from the tack room. So again, we can look in here and look at horses. We've got a chest bar that goes across the access door opening. I'll show you that access door when we get to the outside. But up on the roof, you're gonna have a couple roof vents. two-way roof vents. We can create airflow through here. Again, the back doors, you know, you can open, you can create a vacuum through here. But I also want you to pay attention to that roof. So that is standard on every single Cimarron. It's a 1/2 inch thick, it's reinforced. So it's a honeycomb design. It's really strong. What's important about that is we live here in a hail state, and if you probably noticed during the video, you might have seen our hail canopies behind. Our Cimarrons will actually migrate out from underneath when it's after winter time and we get into hail season, because these actually handle the hail so much better than our aluminum sheeted trailers out there. I'm talking it has to be substantial size hail to do damage to this roof. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot when you're walking on it. So again, really strong. The other part of it that's really beneficial to you is it'll keep the stall area here 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. So 20% cooler, keeping our horses nice and cool and comfortable. It's unbelievable. It's amazing how many manufacturers don't make a standard insulated roof. Cimarron does. It's on every single trailer. So fantastic, you know, piece that you're going to get with the trailer right there. On the flip side of it, on the floor, we've got rubber mats, but what's underneath it is the industry's best floor. It is a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, tongue and groove. 2 points of contact. If it's 1 point, it has the ability to flex. When it has the 2, it's more rigid. It won't allow it to flex. So you have 4-inch centers with a V-truss in there too. So they had the best floor in the industry up to about 17, and then they changed it to the next version of the best floor in the industry. That V-truss makes it 60% shear force strength stronger than the previous floor. So they had it the best, they improved it. The best way I can explain it to you, and easiest way, is imagine hoof size of a horse. Now wherever they're standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. You start off with the industry's best floor and you build up from there. You've got such an incredible trailer. Again, fantastic from that standpoint there. Now as we get over here to driver's side, again, you get a good look at that Dutch door swung around, and then you've got the big bus window over the hip. And then we transition into this access door. So you don't necessarily have to, if you need to hop into this stall area, you don't have to drop that ramp. You can come over here and actually hop through this man door and hop directly into that stall area here ahead of the horses. What's cool about this one too is you have a window over here. Remember, we have a window in the Dutch door, that top part of that side ramp. Well, over here we have the same. We've got a window, but we also have the actual drop down feed door. So a lot more airflow. Again, the air is going to come, you know, we're in a forward motion, so the wind's going to go in and it's going to want to travel. If you have those back Dutch doors shut, you can open up those bus windows to create that vacuum. That air will want to go right over the top of the horses, you know, and through the trailer, really keeping them nice and cool and comfortable. But these are massive, you know, framed drop windows that they have here. So these are made at the factory. These are really stout. You also have the jail bars that fold down. And then again, key to like, everything again has one key for the entire trailer. So you've actually got also above that door, you're gonna have a 16-inch awning light. So again, you have those awning lights on each side, above the tack at the rear. So again, you have all that light coverage, which again, you're not gonna be disappointed that you have too many lights on the trailer itself. On all these hinges, they're welded with grease zerks, so they're easier to maintain by you. You don't have to necessarily go find somebody to heat them up and try to get lubricant to them. And I've seen holes drilled in welded hinges up high because they try to feed the, you know, some type of lubricant in there where it goes down. Well, you can see a little of the grease right there. This has been you know, grease fed to it. When you open and close it, it's got this brass rod. You can kind of make that out a little bit in the video here, but that brass rod runs the length of this hinge, and it's got a swirl, so a groove cut into it all the way around. And what happens is when you feed that grease into these hinges and you open and close these doors, you know, just open and close, it feeds it throughout that entire hinge. So a lot simpler for you to maintain there. So as you can see why this guy is such a popular seller. Our 2-horse bumper pulls with this side ramp, and that you know, movable divider and in our goosenecks. These guys do not stick around long. So I'm going to give you the stock number on reference for it. Again, this is a 2025 Cimarron Norstar Warmblood 2-horse bumper pull side ramp. Stock number is 5N250083. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to you. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. We've got this one, and we've got a lot more here and on order. So it's, again, a really popular trailer. So give us a call. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.